On the 40 acres on campus grounds, we gather round, discussing goals and dreams and life's adventures. The Texas Longhorns, they're the talk of the town. Podcast tales of the 40 acres, where we dive deep into the game day stories, from touchdowns to heartbreakers. We discuss it all, Texas Longhorns glory. Yeah, we gather round each Thursday night, talking sports, it's so alright. From football to basketball, baseball to softball, Tim Wayne and Irish, we cover it all. Sports talk is our passion, our delight. Thursday night at 8:30, we unite. We discuss the scores, the plays, the teams you like. Let's dive into the game, let's ignite.
12 conference champions.
Yo, what's up? What's up? It is your boys from the Texas Longhorn Fan Battle Podcast. Of course, my name is Sarkisian. This is my boy here, Tim Wayne. Tim Wayne, what's up, man?
What's up, man?
Not much. You know what? One thing we didn't get to talk about. I did not do this on purpose. I am sorry, Longhorn Nation. I did not do this on purpose. But I posted yesterday, reposted a video of Billy Norton. And I thought he was coming back to Texas.
Man.
But he is not, because he has no eligibility left. And for that, I publicly apologize. I was not trying to clickbait anybody, although I do appreciate the 1.2 thousand likes.
Man, we did get a lot of love on that post, though.
I'm not gonna say sorry for the engagement, but I am gonna say that I apologize for sending the wrong message. And I don't know. That's okay. I will get over it. I have already gotten over it, but I do want to say I do apologize. But I also want to say thank you for engaging with me and laughing at me about it, because I deserve to be pointed at and laughed. So, Billy Norton is not coming back to the University of Texas, although that would have been really, really cool.
That would have been fucking huge for us, man. That would have been great.
But we do wish Billy the best of luck. And the 14 other Longhorns who will be at the Combine next week, starting
next
Thursday.
week.
Very, very excited. I was hoping to be able to get to go to the Combine this year, but it just didn't work out for us.
Right.
Next year. Listen, we're gonna have plenty of opportunities for a lot of guys on this team to get to the Combine. Another record-setting year for Texas. 14 guys were invited to the Combine.
Yep.
And yeah, we'll be watching from afar. Maybe one of these years we'll also.
I do want to ask, and we could talk about this after the Combine, especially like after seeing where people and what people are doing, especially like throughout like running and things like that, and doing, it's, again, this is just, I don't know. My old coach used to call it the shirt and short Olympics. Basically you go in there and you do a bunch of stuff. Like, none of this is going to none of this is, it's all dumb. Like, basically, like, it's a show. It's a dog and pony show, right? You go in, you do these interviews, you take the Wonderlick, you do all this stuff, and then you go and prance in front of all these other guys. I really do thank the NFL for letting the crowd actually come into Lucas Oil and take heed and get to witness we never know. Last year, we got to see Xavier Worthy become the fastest guy in NFL history to run a 40. So that was cool. And maybe that may happen again. I don't know. Maybe another Longhorn will break another record. We don't know, but I appreciate that. But I want to know, and we'll talk about it after the combine. What Longhorn do you think would be a great addition to your football team, your favorite NFL team? Again, mine was Deshaun Overshown a couple of years ago. They just so happened to draft him. He's just been riddled with injury, unfortunately. He's been so good. He's so good when he's on the field. He's so fast. He makes such a big difference, but he's just been riddled with injury, unfortunately. Hopefully, he makes a speedy recovery. He comes back. I think he messed up the same knee. This has been the second time that
Is it an ACL again?
I think it's the ACL. I think he's torn this ACL before.
That was his rookie year.
Right. But again, he tore his ACL in the beginning of the rookie year. The year he got drafted, came back. Year one, tore the same ACL. I believe again. So hopefully that's a non-thing. Again, sports medicine has been really, really dope. But I'm wondering, what Longhorns you could see potentially being on your football team to contribute to possibly trying to build to get a Super Bowl.
Yeah, there's two that I not only do I hope, do I think would be great additions. I hope they're additions. Gunnar Helm and Andrew Makuba.
Mine was Andrew Makuba and Jaden Blue.
Yeah. Here's my thing. Like if I look at the Colts right now, right? It's a very, very good offense, like from a skill point perspective, but it has no tight ends, and the quarterback needs it. Like Anthony Richardson is still very young in his development. People don't realize he's only 22.
Yeah,
21. Like he's 22, asked to carry a franchise. So not only is he's very inexperienced, right? He hasn't played a lot.
He doesn't have a lot of football. He didn't play a lot of college football.
Exactly. He hasn't played a lot. And he's also still very, he hasn't hit his peak maturity.
Yeah, I think his game is still very raw. And
there's a lot of really good things about his game, right?
Right.
And so we'll see how next year turns out. He is working with the same, off-season quarterback coach that Josh Allen worked with before his third season, and we know the jump.
Josh Allen totally changed up his delivery and how he throws a football.
And that's exactly what Anthony Richardson's. That's what they're hoping.
Yeah.
Now, is he going to take the job? It's really hard to make the Josh Allen comparison now because of what Josh Allen has become.
Dude, what Josh Allen went from and what Josh Allen is now, is crazy. He's definitely put.
And that's what they're banking on, right? Like that's why they went up so high and got him, because I mean, really fundamentally, like him and Allen are basically the same quarterback.
Yeah,
they were very inaccurate, big arm quarterbacks.
Yeah,
that were mobile, right?
Yeah,
Anthony Richardson is probably a little bit more mobile than Josh Allen.
Right.
Who, and the only difference is Josh Allen played a lot in his first 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Richardson has not. Josh Allen was a little bit older, had a little bit more experience in college because he played a lot.
Right.
Richardson did not. So I think there's some very small, similar differences, but for the most part, they're the same person. They're the same quarterback.
Right.
So I think Gunnar and our tight end room is absolutely atrocious. It is garbage. If it were up to me, there's a lot of debate in Colts Twitter, and you can, if you're interested in the Colts, watch us Tuesday nights. We'll be back next week. There's a real argument between should the Colts go get Tyler Warren at 14, or should we invest in our secondary and go get a guy like Malachi Starks? That's a really big debate, and a lot of mocks have Tyler Warren going to the Colts because the tight end room is so poor. And it really leaves Anthony Richardson, a young quarterback, in a bind because he doesn't have an outlet. Your tight end should be your safety net. It should be your outlet. And he doesn't
Right.
have that, and it probably magnifies some of the struggles that he has. So that's why I think Gunnar Helm would be awesome. If they don't get uh, Tyler Warren.
Right.
Andrew
Okay.
McCullough would be great because if you look at the new defensive coordinator, Lou Anarumo, he was the most successful when. Do you remember what Lou Anarumo is most famous for?
No, I don't.
Shutting down Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship game when they went to the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is
Okay.
that Lou Anarumo. And you know how he did it? He did it with Jesse Bates. People remember Jesse Bates.
Jesse Bates is a
Very
beast.
versatile, very
God,
good safety.
the Falcons
I
got
think,
him for nothing.
yeah, I think Andrew Makuba is that. And so
Oh, you're comparing him to, yeah. I mean, yeah.
skill set is very similar, right? Hard hitter,
Yeah, he's a hard hitter and he likes to go and get the ball. He can
very
do it.
good in coverage,
Yeah.
very quick, very versatile. He's a very versatile safety.
And he's
right?
tall. Yeah.
And he's tall, right? So you need versatile safeties and you need versatile linebackers. If I were a Colts fan, if I were the Colts front office, and I don't care what happens after this year because I could get fired, I'd get rid of every single linebacker in that room.
Oh.
They all suck. Every single linebacker in that room sucks. It does not fit the scheme that you have right now. So you need to go find some linebackers that can coverage that are good in coverage, which they have actually one, but he's young, right? You need to go get some talent. And then you need to go fix that safety position, and you need to get one more edge rusher. So there's a lot of holes on that team because the GM doesn't know, couldn't team build worth nothing. So because he's so bad, now you have to make a last ditch effort to undo all the bad that he's done. So
Well,
but those are the two guys that's a very long answer for just to say.
Yeah.
Just to say
we could talk more about it after we, next week after the combine. We'll definitely talk about our Longhorns and how they performed, who we thought were standouts, who we think could possibly go in the first round. I think there's one guy that I will say I got a good feeling about him and where he's going to go. And I think I'll just give you a quick little answer and where I think he's going to go. I think Quinn Ewers might end up being a Los Angeles Ram.
You said Quinn Ewers would be a Ram? You know what I was thinking? I think he's going to be a Seahawk.
I think he's going to be a Ram. And I think he's going to be a Ram, and I think the players are going to go in really vouch. I think Jordan Whittington will make a very strong case to go and get Quinn Ewers. I'll go into more detail why. There's some other tie-ins there with LA and Texas. I'll talk about that, but we got to pay the bill.
How do you think that happens? What round are you thinking?
Third, fourth, third or fourth.
Okay.
Yeah,
I had him going to Seattle in the second or the third.
Ooh. I mean, we got him on the West Coast for sure. We got him on the West Coast.
The way I think about it is Geno Smith was never the long-term answer for Seattle, but Geno Smith is a very good example for Quinn Ewers to how to persevere, how to overcome all the challenges and the expectations, how to still perform at a high level, and then the other piece is how to take care of yourself at the NFL level.
Right.
You're gonna need a guy that's gonna have to be able to teach him how to do that.
The reason why I have Quinn going to the Rams is because I do believe that Matthew Stafford is I think he's on his way out. And I think he might end up. Yeah, I think he might end up. I think he might either end up in. Honestly, I would not be shocked if he ended up in Seattle or if he ended up in New York as a Giant or a Jet.
I thought he was going to end up with the Jets.
So I think I could also see Aaron Rodgers coming into the Rams and Quinn sitting up under Aaron Rodgers. I definitely see that happening.
I think that might be the worst case scenario for Quinn.
I mean, at this point in time, a lot of these guys are getting thrown out there. These guys they're expected to be ready right then and there, especially by the fan base, right? But there's nothing wrong with sitting behind a guy.
Oh, no.
Is not. I mean, we see what Jordan Love's doing. Um, I mean, even Kirk Cousins, even though he had a terrible year, he's had moments where he shined, but he sat behind RG3 for a while. So, uh, again, I really think that there's an opportunity for Quinn to really get under some really good coaching. I think what Sean McVay has done there in LA, even when he doesn't have these moniker players and these superstars at like Jalen Ramsey or Aaron Donald, he's still very relevant, and he's done very well with what he's got. So again, we'll talk about that as we get closer to the draft, and we'll recap it and talk about what we think is going to happen. Also, right after that, pro days start. Pro day,
A couple weeks, right? Yeah.
couple weeks.
Pro days are your average. But your average like football fan's not going to watch pro days. Like, that's like more for the hardcore fans.
Right, but we
are the hardcore.
We are the hardcore. We talk it all. We talk draft, combine, supplemental draft. Like, we talk about it all. That's who we are, man. That's why we are who we are.
It'll be interesting to see. Well, we have now gone 20 minutes and have not once mentioned our sponsors. Not our sponsors. Who pays our bills? FanBattleSports.com. FanBattleSports.com, where you can get the latest and greatest from the AFC South. The Colts, of course, the Titans, the Texans, the Jaguars, the worst division in football. Also, you can also follow us, get the latest episodes from there. All the latest and greatest from the AFC South. FanBattleSports.com. Interested in starting your own show? Let us know. Fill out all the stuff. Do all the things. FanBattleSports.com. And of course, follow us on Twitter at LHFanBattle, where you can either engage with us or point and laugh at me for posting stupid things that don't make any sense. But follow us at LHFanBattle, almost at 3,000 followers. So really, that's what we're trying to do. Follow us on Twitter, or no, on the tubes, on YouTube, right here, right now. Follow, like, subscribe, comment on the show, engage with us. We're at 72 subscribers, guys. 100 subscribers is all we're aiming to get to. We are aiming to get to 100 subscribers.
Question, quick, wait 1 second. This is completely off topic. The NFL, I mean, ESPN opted out of the Major League Baseball?
And you just saw that?
What?
I think what's interesting about that? I think Major League Baseball actually wins in that trade.
Are they opting out of college baseball too? Because college baseball is like amazing.
No, college baseball is completely separate. This is just
okay. They're just opting out of Major League Baseball, not college.
Yeah. I actually have this post up for here. Let me finish real quick, and I'll go back.
Yeah. Sorry about that. The notification came across on the screen. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's weird, but I think it tells you a lot about what. But yeah, Longhorn Fan Battle. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok. Almost 950 followers on TikTok. There will be one day, and I think one day very soon, where we're going to figure out where we can stream to TikTok and to YouTube at the same time.
Yes, sir.
Follow us on TikTok at Longhorn Fan Battle. Longhorn Fan Battle. All right, Tim. Let's go back to what you're talking about. So ESPN just put out a couple hours ago a statement about why they ended their partnership with Major League Baseball. So we're grateful for a long-standing relationship with Major League Baseball, proud about ESPN's coverage. Super serves fans. To be honest, Tim, you want to be honest with you? I think ESPN's coverage of Major League Baseball is absolutely atrocious.
It's not as good as Fox. Fox does a very good job covering baseball.
It's not as good as like the good old Sunday Night Baseball, right? So, making this decision, we apply the same discipline and fiscal responsibility that has built ESPN's industry-leading live events portfolio. We continue to grow our audience across linear, digital, and social platforms. Basically, saying Major League Baseball doesn't fit in that vision. As we've been through the process, we remain open, exploring new ways to serve MLB fans across the platforms. Yeah. So anyway, they basically cut ties with me because they think
that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate, but no, they haven't. They listen in the past couple of years, they have dropped the ball. There are things that I do like about their baseball team. Uh, uh, Baseball in America. The show, I do like the. No, that might be Fox. My bad. Because I was gonna say them having God rest his soul, Pete Rose on that team, and he was like talking about like how he would adjust like for different pitchers and things of that nature. Like that was just really, really gold to me. I think Pete Rose, I know he betted on baseball, but he never bet for his team to lose. So in that way, in that moment, I definitely think he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I do understand rules are rules. That is the number one rule across all sports, right? Don't bet on sports. Don't bet on your team. Don't bet on anything because it can change the outcome of the game. Completely understand that. But yeah, they definitely dropped the ball. But you know, when you are ESPN and you're a big name network like that, and you put majority of your efforts into football, and that's clear that they're putting their efforts into football, whether it be NFL, we already know about college. We'll talk more about them expanding because that is definitely happening now. That's definitely happening now, especially over the last couple of weeks. It's just they're pouring more money into football. Football is the number one curator of dollars. Yeah, and that's just what it is. That's their focus. So unfortunately, with that being said, baseball is gonna not get the same. And let's just be completely honest. Baseball outside of opening day is one of the best things in sports. Now,
best sports experiences ever. Sure.
yeah, it's one of the greatest experience ever. Opening day, that first month, maybe 2 months of baseball, fantastic because hitters and pitchers are getting to know each other and they're playing each other most of, so you're getting a lot of home runs, you're getting a lot of high scoring games. After about July, it gets nasty and
it's really about the grind at that point.
Yeah, and nobody's watching it then. I'm sorry. I'm not watching baseball in June and July. Holler at me at the end of August.
I think baseball is one of those sports where you're only watching if your team is good in the dog days, right? Like when the Rangers were really good 2 years ago, I was watching in the summer. Like I'm not every single game, but like at least 3 or 4 times a week, the game would be pop that game.
Right.
But when the Rangers were bad last year and like half the team was injured, I'd watch it. Like I'd watch it on my phone. I'd scoreboard watch it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit and watch, I don't know, like Doug Bigsby pitch, some guy I've never heard of.
Yeah, no, I'm not watching that. Right? No, I definitely understand.
In hopes that we get to 500. Like I wasn't doing that. Now this year the Rangers are good again. Baseball is driven by, because it's such a long season. It's driven by how good your team is. Like if I was a Dodgers fan, I'd probably watch almost every game because I know they're good, right? If I was a Yankees fan, I'd probably watch every game. If I was like an Indians fan, like if I was a fan of a contending team, I'd watch all the time.
Yeah.
And that's just because it's so long. That's what it's driven by. To me, so I was just looking at like ESPN's sports contracts. You also know they're losing 90% of their NBA coverage too, right?
Yeah, I mean, dude,
they basically get two nights a week now. They always had 2 nights, but it's going to be like they're going to be overshadowed by Amazon and Peacock. Right. NBC is going to take over the NBA marketplace.
That's what it used to be.
They're going to get back. Remember, man, peak NBA coverage was on NBC.
Peak NBA coverage on NBC, dog. All they need to do is somehow is to get that cast from TNT over to NBC. If they can manage to do that and still let them be them, man.
That cast is going to ESPN.
That's not going to be the same. They're not going to be able to do what they do on TNT, bro. Honestly, to be completely honest, outside of like the trades in what's going on with LeBron, and is KD gonna get traded from the Suns to Dallas? Because that was a talk. Is if that was gonna happen, that's all I cared about.
Yeah,
don't care
it's
about
gonna. By the way, newsflash, that will happen this offseason.
You think Kevin Durant is gonna be a Dallas Maverick?
Kevin Durant's gonna be.
If Kevin Durant is a Dallas Maverick, count me in.
Kevin Durant will be a Dallas Maverick.
Kevin Durant. If Kevin Durant is a Dallas Maverick, I'm getting jerseys. I'm getting pop, Funko Pops. I'm getting it all. But I'm gonna be a Dallas Maverick fan, bro.
By the way, I think Kevin Durant is back in Austin. Is that tonight or tomorrow night?
That I believe that is today the 20th. I believe it's today and tomorrow. So for our NBA.
Oh yeah, it's right. It's actually happening right now. Kevin Durant is playing at Moody.
Kevin Durant has returned to Moody Stadium. Unfortunately, he didn't get to play in Frank Irwin Center. Frank Irwin Center, as you guys know, a couple years ago went down. They built the Moody Center in the place of it, and it is a beautiful stadium. It's beautiful. I haven't got to experience it yet, but he's playing at home in they're playing they're on the road for 2 days. They're playing the Spurs today and tomorrow. Like a back-to-back, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it's just today.
Is this today?
Play back. They play the Suns tonight. They play the Pistons tomorrow.
Okay, so the Spurs are in a back-to-back. Okay, my bad.
This is part of that weird Austin.
Right. They're trying to test the market to see if they can get a pro team here. I think that is awesome. I think for San Antonio to be like, hey, we'll come to Austin and play is really dope. They've been doing that for a while now. But I really appreciate them doing that because they didn't have to do that. But yeah, Kevin Durant is in the building right now at Moody Center. I'm pretty sure they probably honored him somehow, or they'll do something during halftime. They always show love to former UT players and things like that at Moody Center. So shout out to them. And we are 30 minutes in and we still haven't covered anything. So
we've done everything but talk about the long one. So let's talk about it, Tim. All right. So Steve Sarkisian had an interview with Kay Adams today. Really good interview. They talk about a whole bunch of different stuff. Like she's in Austin for the first time, blah, 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 blah. But at the very end, she asked Steve Sarkisian, hey, I'm just, because she's trying to find a fan base. And I think this is just a bit on the interview. Trying to find, I'm a new fan. When can I come see Texas? Like, when is the spring game and why haven't you announced it? And Steve Sarkisian very casually said, there will be no spring game. The guys have played over 30 games in the last 2 years. We really want to run a NFL style off season this year to give I'll give the guys a mental break from having to play all the time. But second off, there's a lot of young guys on this team that need some developmental work, and they really want to focus on like a OTA type mindset. So I know you have a lot to say about this, right?
Yes, I do.
I'll give you your mic, but I do want to say a couple of things. Number one, I think the arch factor is a huge factor in this. I think they took a look at the last 2 years and looked at the crowds and how crazy it was, and they knew like that was just Arch as the backup. Now imagine Arch the starter. So I think there's a little bit of that, right? If we take a more macro look at it and take a look back and peel back a 40,000 foot view, right? I think this is more about creating a different type of culture in the locker room around like off-season prep, off-season work, and off-season everything, right? I think there's a mindset that Sark wants to put into this program that, hey, it's a very like Nick Saban type approach when it comes to off-season mindset. And it's like, we are here to win national titles, and we have to have a different focus during the spring in order to get us over the hump. A lot of fans don't like to hear that, right? They want to. The second thing is this is going to a more NFL style culture, the college football culture in general.
Mhm.
Like this is less and less and less and less about fanfare and more and more and more and more about like these guys play a lot of games, and so they do need to rest their bodies, and maybe the sacrifice of a spring game is where it allows them to do a little bit more things and focus on some other things. So that's my take on it. That is the 40,000 foot view that I have of the whole thing. But interested in hearing what you say.
Okay. Appreciate you giving me the platform to voice my frustrations on this. There's a number of key things that I want to address from a fan's perspective. I want to address uh, from an outside looking in, from like trying to understand from a coach to player aspect, and then from a coach's perspective, which I don't have. I don't have that perspective, but I want to see. I think I understand what he's trying to do. So I'm going to start from the fanatic perspective because this is a fan battle sports, and fan battle fan is short for fanatic. Shout out to fanatic perspective. As a fan, this is a very, very big blow to me. As a fan, as a child, I grew up in the city of Austin. I lived 10 minutes from the stadium. Um, and when I was younger and even into my adulthood, going to the spring game was a big deal. Watching the spring game was a big deal. No matter if I lived in Austin or if I lived in Houston, watching the spring game, going to the spring game has always been a big deal. Excuse me. I'm going to be completely honest with you, and you can attest to this, Reese, because of your situation currently. You are a newlywed. You got married 3 years ago, and you were looking for a place to start your family. You literally had a conversation with me, and you said, Tim, it does not make sense to live in the city. It is too expensive to live in the city. The same house that I want, I can get bigger for better outside of the city. Am I wrong?
Correct.
And that is just the nature of the beast all over America. That is, but specifically within the last 10 or 15 years, this has been a really, really big thing in Austin, Texas. People have moved, companies have moved down here, people have migrated from California, migrated from all over the world to move here to this city. The city has always been very expensive compared to the other major cities in the state. So now you have a situation where Sark says, we're going to cut a free event, a community event, as the spring game out of the situation. Now, again, I understand that he said that that they will have a spring practice that will be open. However, with a spring practice and the difference between a spring practice and a spring game, and me and Harish have felt this verbatim. They will say, hey, we're having a spring practice. And then whenever they want to at the last minute, change it and say, we're not having a spring practice. We're not having it open to the general public. Sorry. Go, if you went to the orange and white game, you went to the spring game, cool. But we're not having an open practice this year. That has happened with multiple coaches in the tenure within the last 10 or 15 years. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Okay. So the reason why I say that and the reason why I don't like that is because, again, whenever they decide that they want to cut the spring practice and not make it open to the general public, those kids, and I think about myself, I love the Longhorns. I've always been a fan of the Longhorns. Like, people cannot afford to go to a Texas Alabama game, dog. People can't afford that. And you want to see, the cheaper games are Texas versus UTSA, but even some of those tickets are ridiculous. Like some of those tickets, until you get to like maybe 45 minutes to an hour outside of the game, those tickets are not reasonably priced in this economy. So when you do something like that and you take away something like that, that's gut wrenching. I know fans that have never been able to go to a University of Texas game. And you know what they told me? It was like, dog, it's just too expensive. I don't want to deal with going downtown. I don't want to fight traffic. I live out of town. You know what I can go to? I can't go to the spring game because a spring game is not necessarily during the football season. It's not packed to the brim. The stadium is not 100,000 strong. It may be halfway full, but it's not completely full. We went to the spring game last year, and it was a very big turnout. Again, expectations are high. I expect the same thing, the same turnout for the spring practice that could potentially be canceled. Uh, I expect the same thing. You give fans an opportunity to experience a game like environment without having to pay for that game like environment. Parking's free. You get free stuff in the game. Like, of course, you got to pay for your concessions and stuff. And Chris Del Conte has been really adamant and really good about still having like festivals and things, and still having an opportunity for people to get that game day experience. Bevo Boulevard is still very active during this time. So when you do that and you kill that, again, I don't necessarily know. And that's why I messaged you earlier and I said, I really want to reach out to Chris Del Conte in a tweet and ask him, why are we cutting this? What all does this entail? Do they still lose? Do we lose that situation? Because again, a practice versus a spring game is two different things. Those are two different levels. So it's unfortunate. I don't like it. It's almost like you're killing a tradition. I get it from a coach's perspective and a player's perspective. You want to protect your team. There's been things about, I've heard things about tampering and like people,
That's the other thing. I was gonna say.
kids getting approached during these spring games from other schools, these other big name schools and things like that. Your kids are going to get reached out to no matter what. It's nasty work. We knew what was happening. It happened during the playoffs. We got reports that there was multiple teams that was interested in reaching out to Quinn about coming back and possibly starting at Ohio State. Come back to Ohio State, finish off what Will Howard's moved on. Come back, you could take over the team. There was the thing about Oregon. As soon as that Oregon game was over, there was reports about Quinn Ewers possibly going to Oregon to take up what Dylan Gabriel has done and hopefully get them to a national championship. And both of these teams were offering 6-figure checks.
Yeah.
Don't know if it's true, but 9 times out of 10, everybody was reporting on it. So it's got to be something there.
Yeah.
So I say all to say this. I understand what Sark is trying to do. I don't know. Even the drills in the we've got footage, and if you guys want to see, there's footage on our TikTok page about like what our experience was there and it was a great experience. I would say me and Haris probably had the best time last year, these last couple of years, than probably any other time that we've gone to these. And we've been going to these for a long time outside of the COVID year. So we've been to multiple spring games together. And so I don't know, like, if you're trying to protect your players because you have a quote unquote young team, people are going to spy on you regardless, dog. Like, clearly this is a thing. Like, people are going to try to get the footage and get everything on you regardless of the situation. It's just a thing. But
I think there's something to that, right? Yeah. Players are going to get tampered with. People are going to spy on you. But if you can limit the entry points for those things to happen, then you're going to do that, right? As a program. I also think Sark is like when you're trying to get over a hump, right, as a coach, you're either going to figure out something really early on to try to get over that hump,
Yeah.
or you're
Yeah.
gonna wait for it to fester and wait too long, and then do something really panicky to try to get over.
Do something really dumb. But yeah. Okay. I mean, I
I
get
think
that.
the other piece of that is I've been to the same place the last 2 years.
Harish, you know what I would respect more? I would respect you. I would respect his decision if he says, listen, we're really trying to win a national championship right now, and I need my guys to focus. So I'm canceling. I'm sorry to the this is how you negate this. This is like crisis management 101. You get to the point. He danced on that situation, and that's what I don't like about this.
But he
He
didn't
danced.
dance. He said, "I am canceling the spring game."
He
Yeah,
no,
man, maybe he danced around the. Here, this is the thing. I think you're trying to put like what you think he should have said and what his mindset was. Like to me, could he have honestly just said, "Hey, you know what? I think he could have said, I think we're really really close, right? I've done the same thing the last 2 years. I want to do something different." It wouldn't have changed your mind.
no. If he would have just laid it out the way if he would have
It wouldn't
been
have changed
more
your mindset.
blunt,
It wouldn't have changed.
no. Listen, this is again. If he would have said, "Hey, we're trying to win a national championship. I need my guys to focus. I've got a young team. I need my guys to focus. I got to cancel this because I don't want any distractions." I've been pissed, but I would have understood it. Now, like the way he's like, "You want to come to a spring practice?"
Well, to me, what that means is there's. I don't think like because there's no spring game, they're not going to do anything. I think what he was trying to push is like there will be something. It's not going to be the same to the same magnitude,
But
but
at
we
the same
understand
time,
we owe the fan base something.
but we also don't know what that means. He's saying, "Do you want to come to a spring practice?" Now, she's going to be able to go to a spring practice because she's also a member of the media, and we know that they have those type of practices where the media gets to come in, the media gets to interview the teams, the media gets to talk to the players and the coaches and the staff, and those type of situations. Yes, she would be able to get that. What about
Yeah.
the rest of the community that supports you around you? You're just gonna
I think
shut
he was saying that to her facetiously in the moment. I think right. She's like, well, yeah, you can go to a spring practice because she asked him about, she basically said, hey, I'm a brand new fan. How can I come watch the team? It's like, well, you can come because you're in the media. You can come to a spring practice, right? And then he goes on. He never really addresses that there won't be anything else, but I would be very hard pressed to think that there's just gonna be like, yep, there's not going to be anything.
I'm
Now,
going to make
but
it my
knowing the Texas media, it wouldn't surprise me either. Or knowing the Texas, knowing the Texas program, that wouldn't surprise me if there was nothing. But I think that's a play at her, like facetiously, to be like, yeah, you can come to a spring practice,
right
particularly because of who you are, right?
because of who
And I
you
think
are.
that was
Yeah.
just playing off of what she told him. I don't think that has anything to do with
Okay. I mean, so obviously it doesn't affect you the way it affects me. It-
No, it doesn't. Yeah, it really doesn't.
yeah,
I get
yeah,
it. I guess I'm just looking at it differently than you are. It's just a different perspective.
yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I look at it from a perspective of like I know what it's like to be able to not be able to afford to be able to go to an Alabama Texas game. I know what
Yeah,
it's
for
like to
sure.
be able to go to an orange and white game, and that be the only thing that I'd be able to go to because it is free and it is an opportunity for me to go and be around Longhorn fans and and just really just celebrate the team in general and
And
kind
be
of
excited about the same thing,
it,
not a hype.
it's the ultimate hype train, dog. It is the dude when you get in there and you and I when we saw Arch throw that ball
I was
80
actually,
yards,
yeah,
it's got over 100,000 views on our TikTok page.
yeah.
And you just go cut that, bro. If anything, and again, he may not. Clearly he doesn't care about hype. He doesn't care about hype.
No, he doesn't. You know who else didn't care about hype? Nick Saban.
Nick Saban was winning, and we're
We're
getting
getting there.
we're getting to that point. Nick Saban was winning, and he's won a lot.
But Nick Saban, before he won, didn't care about hype.
They were spring games before Nick Saban decided to cut them.
He didn't care about that though. There was like 2 or 3.
I don't know. Again,
I think it's a very Nick Saban move,
it
and
is
I
you.
think it's a shift.
You
It's a
called it.
shift in the understanding of the fan base.
You called it as soon as I sent you the video, and I said Nick Sark dropped the bomb. You said he Nick Saban'd it.
Yeah, he Nick Saban.
So
Who's his second biggest mentor? Nick Saban.
right.
You think
I don't know.
Pete Carroll gave a shit about spring games? Pete Carroll didn't care about that crap.
Pete Carroll didn't. Pete Carroll's a different type of coach.
Yeah,
Pete
but
Carroll,
I mean,
Pete
again,
Carroll had Will Ferrell and Snoop Dogg out there catching punts.
yeah, that's true. That's fair.
So
He also grew up around that. Like that's basically all he knew.
right. That's
So
true.
I get it from both sides of the.
I am personally
perspectives.
I get it. I understand it.
I'm not saying I'm a fan of it. I'm not saying, hey, Mitchell, I don't care, right? But at the same time, I'm not saying it's the right or the wrong decision. To me, I don't care. If I look at the fan base as a whole, it's not the greatest decision.
Right.
But then also at the end of the day, I get it.
Yeah.
So I'm in all 3 phases depending on who we're talking about. I get why it sucks for the average fan that can't afford to go to the game, right? Now, there's got to be some give and take to that. If you're going to say, hey, we're not going to, have a spring game, what are you going to do in the fall to make it more affordable for the average fan to come to your games? And that's the give and take that you're going to have. And is there going to be that? I highly doubt it. But
it's not.
You never know. Listen, I didn't expect Chris Del Conte to cut concessions the way he did, and he did it, and it was awesome.
Chris Del Conte, that's why
maybe there's something else there.
Maybe I'm gonna make it a point to like reach out to Chris Del Conte from our page and just kind of ask him like why is this happening? Like what and shout out to him because he's very transparent, and I love the fact that he gets straight to the point. Chris Del Conte will get it. I don't know what it is about him and his Twitter account, but he gets straight to the point. He will take.
I'm sure somebody's already asked. Let's go see.
X, Y, and Z. We felt like this was the reason why we did this. This is the end result of that, and this is what to look forward to in the future. I respect that. I respect it a lot. And Chris Del Conte has been such a great AD, and I just appreciate him and what he's done because he's really brought the fan base back to the way it used to be. Even when we weren't winning ball games, we were still a rabid fan base. And I think we've gotten stale over the last couple of years until we got Del Conte. And so, I appreciate what he's done. He's done a very good job. So yeah, we can move on from that. I'm gonna form my question and then I'm gonna reach out to him and see what he says. If he doesn't say anything, at least I tried.
Yeah, maybe he will, maybe he won't. I don't know. All right, Tim. We've got 2 things we got to hit really quickly, and I've got to jump off.
Yep.
Texas basketball, kind of in the thick of it. We're women's basketball. First off, shout out to women's basketball. Another huge win to LSU, right?
Yep.
I want to focus more on Texas men's basketball. Yes, and the reason why I want to focus more on Texas men's basketball is because of where they currently sit in the in bracketology. Women's, by the way, now the number 2 team. So move up to number 2. But so as of yesterday, Texas men's basketball is currently listed as a 10 seed, right? In the latest bracketology, which is actually higher than I thought they would be. Okay. They have games remaining at South Carolina, at Arkansas, home to Georgia, at Mississippi State, who's ranked number 21, and they finish the season off against Oklahoma. So they have 5 games left. First off, what do you think their record will be in those games?
I think they will finish out. Their current record is 16-10. So I don't see them losing anything else.
You seen winning out?
I could see them winning. I could definitely see them winning out.
That would be the
It's
best scenario. That would give
it's
them 10 SEC wins.
that would give them 10 SEC wins. They're favored to win just about all of these games that are remaining, except for one, and that's against Arkansas. And Arkansas, even though they're not having the best year, they are very, very good. They are, I believe, Arkansas is 15 and 11. They're not having the years that they've had in the past, but they are still a formidable team.
They're currently
And
in the conference. They're one game worse.
they're one. Okay, so yeah, I mean, listen, the SEC. Again, it's crazy to say this, but they are the best. They are the best men's basketball league. Like they're the best conference right now.
By far.
It is crazy. Of course, you got your Dukes and your other teams, and but man, listen, you got Alabama, you've got uh, Auburn is doing amazing.
Three of the top 5 are SEC teams. Right?
You again, A&M, you got A&M and Missouri. They're both ranked as well. So like it's going to be a big ACC SEC tournament. Period. That's just what it's going to be. But I think outside of maybe that Arkansas game, I think they could win majority of those. So I would say 20, 21 and 10, 22 and 10. That's what you don't want to have more than 12.
4-1 that puts them at 20 and 11, right? And then that's 9 conference wins. It's not bad, right? It's a good recovery. You got to think. I think they have 8 conference losses, but I think what's getting lost in translation is some of those early conference games. They were in every single game. They've only been blown out once.
They've only been blown out, and that was what, Alabama. That
was last week versus Alabama. Every other game they've lost has been less than 5 points.
Yeah, the Alabama game was just
a one-off, right?
That was a one-off.
I just don't think this team ever got a chance to gel. And I think offensively, their best scoring game in conference play was against LSU, which they put up 89 points. I don't think this team is bad defensively. I still do not like the way they play offense.
I don't like the way that they put up. Like I don't like the way they play offense, and I don't like the fact that they are solid rebounding. Yeah. They were solid rebounding last year, but they seem to be better this year. But there is a level of control that they just don't play under at times. Sometimes they will come down and they will play a controlled style basketball game, and then other times they're just running. They just running and gunning, and I don't understand that. It's like, why do you want to play like that? It's not.
I think last year it's because they didn't have a point guard.
This they got a point guard, and they still at times don't slow the game down.
This year it's because they don't have a big man. Keaton Cedric is terrible. That guy sucks.
I didn't even want to mention him.
That dude's terrible. And he didn't take the leap that I thought he was going to take. And it puts them in situations where it's like you can control the game 2 ways. You can control the game with your point guard, or you can control the game with your center and your big man.
Right. Yeah.
And they can't do either one because they're always missing one or the other. Jordan Pope hasn't been the scorer that I thought he was going to be. Trey Johnson still has a level of maturity that he hasn't hit on a consistent basis. We've seen flashes, but he's not he hasn't really grown into the prospect that we thought he was going to be.
Right.
So some of this coaching, maybe, I think some of it is also lack of development and just the lack of understanding what the system is. And so we'll see what happens with them. I'm very, very curious. I do think they go 4-1, which would put them at 9 conference wins, which is exactly where I think they would be. And then you get a couple wins in the tournament, you might be like an 8 seed, right?
Listen, the way it was going after that 3-game skid, if they're able to pull this off and they can at least go 4-1, I would say that is a good season. I could see them if they go and if they pull off 5 wins and they actually progress somewhere in the SEC tournament, I can see them going from a 10 to a 7, maybe even a 5 if they They do what
Yeah,
they
if
need
they
to
like
do.
win the SEC tournament, they'd go to like a 4 or a 5, right?
Yeah.
They get like 3 games. Let's just say they win 2 games in the tournament. They could get like a 7 seed, which
Yeah,
is a
yeah. It's not bad. That's you. The thing is, you don't want to be a 16. You don't want to be on a play-in.
Oh, they won't be that. Yeah,
You
they
don't want
wouldn't be
none
a
of that.
16. I think when it comes to like these major conferences, if you're not like a 11, then you're not getting in.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
or I mean, even a 12 sometimes, right?
Right.
But if they can figure out this offensive weird things that they do, this is not a bad team.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as bad as people think it is. They just do really dumb stuff. So we'll see what happens. Finally, we've got to wrap because I've got to go.
Right.
But Chad Scott is the new running backs coach. He of course comes from West Virginia. He's the former running backs coach at West Virginia. So he replaces former running backs coach who's now with the Detroit Lions. What are your thoughts here?
Another Florida guy. You got a Florida guy coming in. He's been at West Virginia for a while. He's got a pretty lengthy coaching history. He's also very young, which is also very, very dope because you listen, if you can get a young coach like a Tashard Choice is 40. Chad Scott's 41. So they're same age, right?
Oh no, Chad Scott is 50.
Chad Scott's 50?
Yep.
It's still pretty young.
So relative, yeah, it's young for sure.
I definitely thought he was 40, but anyway, you want to get those guys, those type of guys, especially in the Florida area, man. What to be able to go back in again, extend a pipeline into Florida, into Georgia, into Texas again. I've always talked about winning your home state. Everything else is extra. So to actually have that extra pipeline into Florida, don't necessarily know a lot about him as far as who he's been able to recruit from West Virginia to, from Florida, or where he's been as far as Kentucky is concerned. But if he's anything that like a Tashard Choice, anything close to a Tashard Choice, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine.
I think Chad Scott's one of those guys that ends up being like a Kenny Baker type hire, where it's like, help me figure out how to get the best out of these running backs on the field, because I think there was a level of frustration with Tashard Choice on the field, with the development of the running back room. Like, to me, like Trey Wisener ends up being 1,000-yard back, but I just don't feel like he developed as the season went along.
I don't think it was anything wrong with Trey. I think what the problem was is that I felt like there was this opportunities that Sark could have taken advantage of, and there were plays that Sark left on the table because he didn't want to show his entire hand. And
Forget Sark. I'm not worried about Sark. I don't care about Sark.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's Tashard Choice's issue on him developing the running backs. I think it's the play call and the coaching style of Sark at times, where I know for a fact if any of the running backs, it don't matter if it's Jaden Blue, it don't matter if it's Trey, it doesn't matter anything. If the running back lines up on the left side of Quinn, I know it's a run to the left. I know it's either a run to the left or a screen. Those two plays, like it was so easy. Now, there were other opportunities that Sark was able to get these guys out into the field. But like, you can't continuously show the same look and then get mad at the running backs coach and be like, oh, well, you're not developing your running backs. What do you mean?
Well, you can when your running backs are consistently fumbling throughout the entire season.
A fumbling that you can't. Jamal Charles had the same thing.
I'm just being devil's advocate, right? I'm not saying that.
No, I get what you're saying. Jamal Charles, and here's a quick story about Jamal Charles. Jamal Charles was a fumbler. He was a home run hitter.
Yeah.
He was like Jaden Blue. He was a fumbler. There was nothing that the running backs coach could do. You know who reached out to him? Earl Campbell, and said, "Listen, I know we're not the same type of runner, but I had the same issue, and this is how I did it. This is how I was able to go." Now, I'm not saying for Earl Campbell to come in and be like, "Hey, you guys need to learn how to carry the rock," or Jaden Blue, you need to carry the rock a certain way. Jamal Charles was open to listening on how to change his technique in holding the football.
Sure.
That's it. He never fumbled. After that his junior season, he went crazy.
Yeah.
So there's only so much that a running backs coach can do. You can only do so much. You can tell this player how to do X, Y, and Z. If they don't apply it to their game, that's one thing. If a coach does the same running play every week, coaches are going to pick up on what? Tendencies. Scouts are going to pick up on what? Tendencies, formations. If the guy's leaning forward, they pick up on all of that. Player tendencies. They pick up on all of that.
Yeah. I think there's got to be, yeah, I think play calling is one thing, right? But then I lean back to, there's got to be something else, and we'll see. Like, here's the thing: if Chad Scott comes into this, right, and the running backs soar and the running backs get back to 5 yards carry, it wasn't the play calling. That remains to be seen. Like, if the running backs get back to 5 yards of carry this year, and let's just say the next 2 years, right, they get back to 5 yards of carry, was it the play calling?
It might be. We'll have time. The only thing that can do is time, right?
So that's kind of what we'll have to see. So I kind of want to dig more into the running back thing, and we'll dig into that next week.
Yeah, for sure, we can do that. Yeah,
but we've got to go for now. So before we jump off, where can the people find
you? You can hit me up on X or Twitter, Blue Sky Tim Wayne. Man, like I said, we're getting ready to get into the thick of football. Like, I know, we got a number of things. We got the NFL draft, we've got pro day, we've got free agency, and the calendar start of a new NFL season. There's a couple of Longhorns that are supposedly going to be on the move. One that I'm hearing more rumblings of, Poona Ford. Definitely could use Poona Ford in Dallas. We need all the help because Monty Smith, first round draft pick, is not cutting it. So there's definitely going to be some Longhorns on the move. So I'm looking forward to seeing where they land. So shout out to our TikTok fan base. Thank you guys for getting us so many likes and supporting us. Shout out to our YouTube guys, and shout out to our Twitter fan base, our subscribers, and we appreciate y'all. But yeah, let's talk NFL, let's talk college. Again, I definitely want to talk, especially with the combine and us having 11 Longhorns. We'll definitely be covering that, so look forward to that in the future, guys.
Awesome. You can find me at the Uncle Gandhi, and of course on Longhorn Fan Battle. And yeah, I mean, kind of the same thing. Like we've had some really good times and some really great conversations. Let's keep that stuff up. We will be back next week. Shout out to Texas baseball, tough opening night game, but then bounced back the last weekend.
Yep.
They play Dartmouth starting tomorrow 1 p.m. Yep. And they go back to Spencer, I think, is on the mountain tomorrow. So
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, the Schloss era continues with our first home. I think this is our first home series.
Yeah, this is our first home series this week. We were on the road last week in Louisville.
Yep. So
we'll see
how things go, and they play tomorrow at 1 p.m., Saturday at noon, and Sunday.
Yes, sir.
So, all righty, sir. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you guys next week. My name is Harish. That's my guy, Tim Wayne. We out of here. Peace.
Till Gabriel.
Go home.
Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, or go